Good afternoon, dobre dan. So, first of all, I really want to congratulate the whole team that is working on the organization of this event, because it's really important to not only stand up for the equality, but to really insist on it, and they really do it. And we are here every year on the purpose, so I'm really super proud and to be part of the presentation, and big congratulations. It's really a great event. So, about myself, I'm Flavia Gomez, and I'm working for AB InBev, so for around 23 years. And I started in the company back in Brazil. I'm originally from Brazil. And at that time, I started in my city. And about like 6 months or 9 months after I started in the company decided to do a big centralization of the activities that were spread in the country in one location. And then they asked me if I would like to join the experience, and then of course I jumped on it. I moved it to São Paulo at that time, and it was already 3 hours flying away from my hometown, so already quite far from and distant from my family. I spent there 4 years setting up the processes, because I really needed to make sure that it was organized, right? It was in another place, and we needed to do seamless for the customers. So I spent 4 years in different areas: account receivables, cash collections, logistics a little bit. And then there was the same opportunity to do a business services, but in Europe. So they had exactly the same idea to do a centralization of operations here in Europe, in Prague. And then I was asked to join the team. The difference was, it was not for me just to centralize some activities, but also to start up the full business. So when we started here, there was nothing, no building, no employees, literally nothing, and we really needed to think about everything and start up everything in 6 months. It was professionally one of my greatest experiences. After I spent 2 years living here in Prague, and it created really a big and special bonding to me, the city, the environment. So I'm really glad that I took that opportunity. Then I moved to Belgium, and in Belgium I was doing first projects, because as I had the experience and I was doing projects, so I leveraged a little bit on my know-how to enter in different areas, and I entered afterwards in logistics to do transport projects, warehouse projects, eventually planning. And then I moved afterwards to the international business, where I am today. First, I started Europe, import-export, and then planning, and then operations, and now I'm leading the team, which I'm very proud, and I love to do. So, coming back to the topic, right, I want to talk about the hesitation to lean in, and what I mean for that is really the hesitation that we have on put ourselves forward on whatever, in a new challenge, in a discussion. Sometimes we have a lot of people in the group, like here, and to come and to lean in and to make a speech, to raise our voice, to make our point. And then we think about a reflection, why we have that, right? Because when we are a kid, actually we try everything out. We learn by doing, and we don't have that fear on us. Of course, obviously, with the experiences and frustrations around the life, we create some certain hesitations. But there are some techniques that we can do, and that applies, of course, for us to surplus those frustrations or those hesitations. Of course, there is you can train to be more confident, to take more risks, etc. But one thing that I really want to be sure that we speak about, or that you guys take as at least a main takeaway from today, is to really focus on your strengths. So, and what do I mean by that? Is not really talking about performance, and then you have the SWOT analysis where you have the strengths, weaknesses, and we tend, by the way, to focus on the weaknesses to improve the weaknesses, but we really need to focus on the opportunities, because those are the ones that will strengthen us, that will give passion to us to move forward, right? Those are the differentiators that we have on us to make the things better and to bring the motivation and the passion to move forward. So I was reflecting back on the things that I like to do. I like to do projects. I love to do projects. I like to take things from scratch. If there is nothing and I start. I like to deal with conflict. Situations call me crazy, but I like to mediate things, to put stakeholders together to drive in the same direction. So those are the things that I really love to do, and I know that it comes my best out of it because it's my passion, right? And then reflecting on the careers or the opportunities that I had from a career perspective as well, I saw that all the big steps that I took professionally and that made me succeed and really made me be recognized by the efforts and the results that I gave were the ones that I applied those strengths and the things that I liked to do, because it was where I put my best on it, and then, of course, the results came together. So it was really my aha moment, and I really would, let's say, ask all of you to insist on checking your strengths, your personal strengths. What are unique on you that you like to do, that energize you, that brings you passion on doing things, and build your career and opportunities to growth around that, because that really moves you. It makes a big, big difference. There is a video from Marcus Buckingham, I don't know who knows, and then he speaks about exactly how to identify our personal strengths and our personal weakness, and then to manage around the weaknesses. And one of the things that he says is that we focus so much throughout our career on the weaknesses and to improve the career or the weaknesses, and we are so fearful about the weaknesses that we forget to honor the strengths that we have and to put that on the stage to drive our career. So I really urge all of you to identify your strengths, honor your strengths, and make this as the biggest opportunity that you have to make your career in the next steps. That is what I wanted to bring as a message, and open for questions. You're welcome.
Thank you for a great speech and encouragement. It's really about, we are used to speak about our weaknesses and think about them,
yes,
and not really about what is that unique proposition we have and we bring to the world.
Indeed, we are focused on improving the weakness because we are afraid of those, right?
Yes.
And we don't sell our strengths enough to make the difference on what we are bringing to the job or to the new opportunity. So, indeed.
Amazing. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
You spoke about this 20 years, I realized that we have a lot of in common.
Oh, yes.
So both of us being in a beer business.
Yeah.
And actually I also celebrated 23 years.
Oh, very congratulations.
But the point I want to make here, and I think it's very unique, is that we are competitors in many markets, our companies, but we are not competitors at all when we speak about diversity,
yes,
inclusion, and on the global level, also in the European Beer Association, for example, we co-created together all industries, the commitments, pledges, where we committed together to work to improve the situation, where we invite other partners to do. And as we speak today a lot about the call to action, so my call to action would be really connect with the partners, create meaningful connections, can be competitors. You can really make a difference when you work together, because nothing works in isolation or only within your business.
Indeed, and especially in the beer environment that is quite still dominated by men, unfortunately, but we are changing. Slowly but changing, and I particularly work in supply chain, so it's even more dominated by men. But I think we are doing big steps forward in terms of diversity and equality and inclusion. So I think the spirit on making it happen together with the peers in the business is truly there. Yeah.
There was a very good question before asking about advice on how to involve more men in business into this topic. So how you do it in the supply chain, which is really dominated, and many opportunities to involve your colleagues in this.
First of all, inviting them here or to those type of events.
Welcome.
Or to those type of events, because one thing that we invested a lot was indeed on bringing awareness to the men. Not only to the woman, because we speak a lot, right? We talk, and by the way, when we start talking, we see that we have exactly the same hesitations, the same fears, but we need to educate the men on that as well for them to realize. And it's very interesting because we started the journey at ABI very long ago with respect to diversity and inclusion. And I think around 6 years ago or so, we were doing we were still not there yet, very far away, and we were doing a research about with everyone, especially men, on that they think that is important, the diversity and inclusion, and almost 100% said yes, it's super important. And then the second question was, what are you doing about? Are you participating in conference? Are you doing circles to lean in? Are you trying to make sure that the opportunities when you hire is for everyone, or to having a diverse pool when you hire? Because and that dropped drastically, right? So I think that awareness on everyone is very important.
And it's not linked only to men.
No.
It's
really to everyone. Yes, indeed. And to women as well, because I have to say the Flavia 23 years ago and joined the company thinks quite different today from when I joined. I was in a group at ABI yesterday, and I said I didn't have any idea at that time that for being a woman, afterwards having other ambitions in life in terms of family, would ever be a break or a career for me, or a break my career, or a blocker for my career, right? It didn't pass in my mind. Throughout the career, then we start feeling that pressure, feeling that hesitation much more, and we start learning much more. At the beginning, I just thought I could conquer whatever is in front of me, and that would not be a differentiated, but we start learning is different. So if we start advising and learning since the beginning, since earlier, it also helps on the journey, yes.
Sure. So let's give a space to question from the floor. I don't see anything in the application, but if somebody has a question, please feel free, raise your hand and ask question.
It was very clear.
Or
is after lunch? Is after lunch?
Hand there. Probably not enough coffee yet.
Yes, it's after lunch.
What do you need to bring more coffees to bring the energy to the room?
Thank you so much, Flavia. I'm very, very curious. So I totally agree with you in terms of focusing on the strength rather than trying to eliminate the weaknesses. Having said that, I'd love to hear from you. So do you do anything about your own weaknesses? How do you go about your weaknesses? Do you just ignore them altogether, jump on the strength only, or is there some consideration that you have for the weaknesses?
Yeah, you definitely, and you touch a good point. Thank you, Alena. We normally, the first step I think is to be very self-aware, because then you need to understand very well for yourself what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. I think the strengths you just need to utilize in a way that sell yourself and that you put yourself forward in those things that you know very well that it will be succeeding. On the weaknesses, what I try to do at least, of course I get trained, I get myself out of my comfortable zone, right? But I know that those type of activities will weaken me and I don't like to do. So I also try to partner with people that love to do the things that I don't like to do much, right? So in the end, you need to pay attention to your weaknesses, not that you need to ignore at all, because you need to work on those. You cannot choose on what you work. Normally, a work comes with a package of things that you like, things that you don't like. And the weaknesses you need to manage around them on training, getting people that can help you with, to help on your blind spots or your weak spots. I think that is one of the let's say the solutions that I have for myself.
And that's amazing, because you can actually build these skills more on the group level. You don't need to be individual.
You build the team. That is the beauty of having a diverse team, actually.
Exactly.
Yes, indeed.
Also goes with the different knowledge and skills combined together.
Indeed.
Cool. Flavia, thank you very much.
Thank you as well for having me here. Yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone.